If you're someone like me that takes caffeine on a regular basis, you know that the effect seems to diminish the more that you use it. So to compensate for this, people will typically take a larger dose of caffeine in the morning, or they will take a second dose at some point, usually in the mid-afternoon. But I would argue that this is actually the wrong approach. What you want from caffeine is not necessarily more energy, but more useful energy. So yes, if you up your dose of caffeine, you will be more awake and more alert, but I found that this energy that I'm getting from caffeine leads me to be kind of scatterbrained and not focused and thus not productive. Tell me if you've been in this situation, because I have. Let's say that you work a desk job and you take your caffeine in the morning like you normally would. I found that I'm doing all of this task switching and honestly not getting much done. It feels like you're getting stuff done, but you're really not. Task switching is a term used by Cal Newport. He's an author in this productivity space, except his advice is actually pretty good. And what it basically means is that you're bouncing around from one thing to the next without really having any focused attention on one particular thing. Let's say you're working on a project and then you're like, oh, I need to check my email, or oh, this notification came up. Oh, I got to get back to this person. These are examples of task switching, and it's not good because it's not productive. Now, I'm not telling you to stop using caffeine. It's actually the opposite. We're going to find something to stack with your caffeine, to take in combination with your caffeine in order to make it better. And that thing is L-theanine. Now, L-theanine is a naturally occurring amino acid. It's found in things like green tea. And what happens with compounds like this, when they find that it's useful, they extract it from its natural source and they put it into a pill, as you see right here. I have a bottle here. I'll put something in the description that I feel is both a reputable and cost-effective brand. Now, if you look at this particular bottle, and whatever you decide to buy will say something similar to this, it says promotes relaxation and stress support. So you might be thinking, like, why would I want something like this? I'm looking to get more out of my caffeine. I'm looking to become more focused and be more productive. Why would I want something that promotes relaxation? This is not a sleep aid. It does not make you groggy. It does not make you tired. This combination is giving you the best of both worlds. It's basically smoothing out the energy that you get from caffeine so that you can focus on the task at hand without trying. And that's the major key here. Like, you can grind out some focused attention on something, but that's not the point of this. We want this to be seamless. We want it to be easy. And this combination is going to accomplish that. But don't take my word for it. There's a bunch of studies on this, and I wanted to highlight one in particular because I felt it was the best study design. It's by C.F. Haskell et al. And what was cool about this was that there are 3 groups in the study, one which took caffeine on its own, one which took L-theanine on its own, and one which took both. This is important because a lot of these studies compare the combination of L-theanine and caffeine on a placebo. Well, of course we know that L-theanine and caffeine is going to outperform a placebo. You're basically comparing it to nothing. This study was double-blind, which means that the participants don't know what group they're in. It was a crossover study, which means that each participant eventually would be part of all 3 groups. And I love this because in certain non-crossover studies, you may have a group which just happens to outperform the other groups, whether it's due to genetics or other variables that may be involved in these sort of performance-based outcomes. But here you're basically being tested against yourself. So with this study, they had these groups do all these cognitive tasks, and they measured the results, and here's some of the key findings. Caffeine on its own increased reaction time, information processing, and reduced mental fatigue. That's no real surprise here. We know that caffeine does that, and if you're wondering, the dose of caffeine that they were using was 150 milligrams. Caffeine plus L-theanine, this is 150 milligrams and 250 milligrams respectively, did all of that, but led to an even faster reaction time, improved working memory, and improved another test they did called the sentence verification accuracy test. Funny enough, L-theanine on its own didn't really seem to do much of anything as far as this study goes. Those participants did worse on a test called the serial sevens, which is basically where you start from 100 and subtract 7 over and over and over again. So you go 100, 93, 85, so on and so forth, and they measure how well you do in that test. So the combination of 150 milligrams of caffeine and 250 milligrams of L-theanine clearly wins out in this study. I would say most people take more caffeine than that. I personally take 200 milligrams of caffeine with 100 milligrams of L-theanine, but based on the results of this study, I might up the L-theanine a bit and see if that works out any better. I'm pretty happy with the combination as is, but again, with this sort of thing, don't be afraid to experiment with different dosages. But yeah, I would give it a shot. Like I said, link in the description for L-theanine. What I'm also going to throw in is pre-workout supplements, which contain both caffeine and L-theanine. Now, within the context of this video, we're talking about kind of productivity at work and different tasks like that. But this combination works great in the gym as well, which is shown by these pre-workout formulas which contain both caffeine and L-theanine. I found that when I take this combination, I'm not using my phone between sets. Like I just have this focused attention, like I'm really locked in as far as my workouts go. So don't think that this is just for work. This is for physical activity as well. Like I said, I'll throw links in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you later.